Simple, decent people. You'll like them. Please, Beweeg. Don't waste any energy or time being embarrassed. They've been told just as much as they need to know.
How much was that on Mannetjies? How much does anyone need to know about you within Beweeg?
Eugene. Eugene, please.
Welcome to Steenkampskraal, Advocate Murray. I'll get your suitcase.
Good afternoon, Durf.
Well, Doctor. Come meet the family.
How's the leg, Durf?
Oh, much better, thank you, Doctor. Much better. You know, I had to fix Siri's backside the other day and it didn't hurt a bit.
Good afternoon, Tom Corey.
Afternoon, Dr. Pepper.
Corey?
Advocate Murray. This is my wife, Corey.
Pleased to meet you.
And my son, Durf. And this is our little Mannetjies. This is little Corey. It was Louis that opened the gate for you.
I've just taken some rusks out of the oven.
I think Advocate Murray would like to rest first, Tom Corey.
Of course.
Yes, follow me.
Thank you, Louis.
Your gift, yeah? And bless the game.
Good.
Well, it's not as grand as you're used to, I'm sure, but we'll do our best to make you comfortable.
We know you will, Durf. I'll just help Advocate Murray to unpack, then I'll be with you.
So just call if you need anything, huh?
Sit down, Eugene. I also brought your papers on the baboon. They'll move a table in here for you as soon as you're ready to start working again.
Where will they put it, Andres? 3 beds.
Louis and Durf have agreed to sleep in here with you. You know, until you feel better. Listen, Eugene, Beweeg. I know it won't be easy, but you've done it before and you can do it again.
Easy. No, Andres. You don't know. When will I see you again?
But don't think like that, Beweeg. Steenkampskraal isn't all that far from Heidelberg. I'll come out whenever I've got a spare moment.
Not yet. We haven't discussed everything properly.
Yes, we have.
You can't just leave me like this.
I have to, Eugene.
It's not going to work, Andres.
It will. Yeah. Better take these now. I've brought you a week's supply, Durf. You know how many to give.
Yeah, 10 in the morning and 10 in the evening until you tell me otherwise.
Under no condition more or less, until you hear from me. We must give him time to settle in first. Now, when I think we're ready to start reducing the dosage, I will either come out myself or send you a letter with Steery when he comes to fetch a week's supply.
That's on Mondays.
Right. Now, warn Steery he must not take any messages from Advocate Murray to anyone in town.
Yeah.
Remember what I said, Durf. He's very sick, so it won't be easy. But Advocate Murray could become Chief Justice if we can get him back to good health. Who else will know where they are?
Nobody.
Durf.
Yeah, Doctor.
Try to get the others to understand that, oh, thank you, that you're all still strangers to him, so you'll feel lonely, yeah, and embarrassed because of his condition, to start with. But most important of all, under no circumstances, more or less, now than I told you.
Yes, of course.
He's a sick man, but also a very clever one. And when a clever man gets desperate...
I understand, Doctor. But still, Kampskral will get him right.
I hope so, Durf. Because he's also a very dear friend of mine.
Doctor, we'll treat him like one of the family.
Thank you.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Dr. Fisher?
Doctor?
Doctor? Mannetjies. We slaughtered yesterday.
Corey, you're a dear. Thank you. Thank you, Durf.
He looks sick, eh, Pa?
Yeah, well, that's why he's here. Fresh air and your mother's cooking. That's what he needs. And his medicine, of course.
How must we call him, Pa? Advocate Murray or Mr. Murray?
Well, Louis, I don't know. Maybe he's even a bloody professor.
It is to those temperaments in which pain is a predominant element of consciousness, and in which some quality of suffering is inseparable from thought, that all joy-creating poisons constitute the greatest threat. All of them have one property in common. The first and chief physiological effect is a temporary feeling of happiness, which wears off as the poison is eliminated by the system.
Mr. Murray? Mr. Murray? Door is still locked.
Come over here. The doctor said the pills would make him sleepy.
But he must also eat, Durf.
Yeah. Oh, Louis. Would you go outside by the window and see if he's all right?
Only me, Louis. Something wrong, Mr. Murray? Books do you think he's written, Pa?
How many? More than I can ever read in what's left of my time, that's for sure.
Maybe we'll be in one of them one day with a picture. How's that? Louis Meyer and Eugene Murray.
Leave the poor man alone now.
We're not saying anything bad, Ma.
I didn't say you were. But I think all this sort of talk is just going to make things harder for him. Let's treat him like one of the family. Like any other ordinary person.
He's not, Ma. Dr. Visser said so himself.
What is now actually wrong with him, Pa?
Now, according to the doctor, he's got some sort of fever.
Fever.
Hot and cold with shivers. But one thing I do know, his medicine is bliksem strong. De mandelboom zal bloeien en dat de springkaan zichzelf geen last zal wezen. En dat de lust zal vergaan. Want de mens gaat naar zijn eeuwig huis en de rookagers zullen in de straat omgaan. Almighty and merciful Father, we thank thee for this day for food, clothing, and shelter. And please, God, extend thy mercy to the sick man who has taken shelter under our roof. Hallowed be thy name. Amen.
You okay, Mr. Murray? No. What's the time? Time? We don't worry too much about the time you're at, Mr. Murray. Pa's got the clock. What's the date? Date?
Monday.
The date. June 1926.
Mercy, wake up. Don't disturb the advocate. Morning, boys. Morning. Cold night. Everything all right?
Ach ja, I had a bad dream, that's all, Pa.
Ja, there's a lot of work to be done. Here's some nice coffee. Come. Mr. Marais? Marais, are you awake?
Come in. Come in.
Mr. Marais? Your medicine. Is there anything else I must do, Mr. Marais?
No, that is all. That is all, thank you.
Sorry, Mr. Marais.
The supreme danger, which lies in the use of intoxicants as a cure for mental suffering, and which often renders the remedy worse than the disease, is of course the morbid organic changes resulting from habitual use. Cessation of use causes what are known as symptoms of abstinence, of a severity and painfulness proportionate to the usual dose and duration of the habit. These symptoms are always painful, and a dose of the poison invariably affords relief from their immediate effects. Long continued usage therefore sets up in time the so-called double pull, the craving for characteristic euphoria and a dread of the painful symptoms of abstinence. There is a continual alternation between the deepest gloom of abstinence and a mental state which, through continuous use of the drug, resembles sluggish mental anesthesia rather than positive happiness. But for the individual concerned, this temporary respite is preferable to the normal condition of suffering.
Corey, you go knock on the door and tell Mr. Murray supper is ready. What's the matter with you, child?
He's strange.
It's all right. Judy.
Mr. Murray? Mr. Murray? Pa, I'm hungry.
Zeg aan vader, hier laat ons niet meer vergeten.
Come in.
There's a letter for you, Mr. Murray.
Oh. Spill out. Thank you. Sit down, one yours.
How are you feeling today?
Not too well. I had another bad night.
Yes, my son is telling me you're not sleeping too well. Is there nothing else we can do for you?
Thank you, Wundors, but Dr. Fisher and I have tried everything. Only the pills really help. That's the trouble with malaria.
Malaria?
Yes. Once it's in the bloodstream, it's virtually impossible to get it out. I picked it up in East Africa.
No, thank you.
There were 14 of us. I'd organized an expedition to get ammunition and medical supplies through to our people.
Oh, in the war?
Yes.
Yeah, in the end, you know, we counted our bullets more carefully than I've ever counted the money in my pocket. It almost hurt to take aim at a neck or pull the trigger. What happened to the expedition?
They died, one by one. It's a terrible region for malaria. In the end, it was just Dr. Schultz and myself, but even we had caught it. An Indian doctor kept us alive with the pills. That's how it all started. It varies, of course. Sometimes, for years, I can do with virtually nothing. Other times, when it gets out of hand, I've got to increase the dosage.
Yes, of course.
In fact, I think it has come to that again.
What do you mean, Mr. Murray?
I think I should increase the dosage for the next few days. 14 or even 16 pills instead of 10.
Mr. Murray, Dr. Fisher won't like that at all, you know. He's trying to reduce the number of pills, not increase them.
He doesn't know how badly I've been sleeping.
But I told him in the last letter, and he said I mustn't do anything unless he tells me to.
I am not asking for the lot.
Please, Mr. Murray. With these pills and things, I don't know what's a lot and what isn't. You must excuse me now. This brandziekte is getting out of hand. You know, castor oil for cows. That's what I know about. Zegen Vader, wil we eet, laat ons nimmer u vergeet. Amen. We're going up into the Rheinkies tomorrow. Mr. Murray, would you like to go with?
I'll see how I feel.
Fresh air will do you good. You know, all this lying in bed can make a man feel worse than he really is.
We must take guns, Pa. It's getting time for the guinea fowl.
There's guinea fowl, and quail, and partridge.
Do you hunt, Mr. Murray?
I have.
Durf is the marksman in our family.
Ah, you're too impatient, that's all.
He's right, you know.
Mr. Murray, Please try to eat something.
Sorry, I'm not hungry. Please excuse me.
When's he going?
Corrie!
Advocate Marais is a guest in this house. Don't let me ever hear you ask that question again.
Look, that's what Paco's getting better.
He's sicker than we think. Fancy yourself as a doctor, eh? Don't joke about it, Louis. The man is suffering. What you doing? No, man, I can't sleep with that damn light. He's in for another bad night. So are we.
Standing in the door, watching him. The baby, for the first time. Muncie, you know what you're looking at? Something that millions of people never saw because they died too soon. King Harold thought it was an omen of misfortune. Tomaria could never remember its name. She called it Eugene's Star. It has an orbit of the most extreme ellipticity. At a feeling, Halley's Comet is 35 times more distant from the sun than here it is at its mean distance. When it comes back on scene, we'll all be... Marais! Shut up! I want to sleep! The difference between 10 and 12 is absolutely negligible. If you know nothing about the quantities involved, then let me assure you I do.
Mr. Marais, please be reasonable.
It's outrageous. You're treating me as if I were a 10-year-old child.
Mr. Marais!
I've lived with my illness for 30 years now. You think I've learned nothing about it?
Be reasonable, Mr. Marais. Dr. Fisher gave me specific instructions. 10 in the morning and 10 at night. And not to change anything unless he told me. Now, please try to understand. I'm a farmer. I know nothing about these things.
Well, I do. So I suggest you let me look after the bulls. Where are they?
Marais!
Durf?
I can't. I promised.
Right. Then I'm warning you. You take full responsibility for whatever happens to me. On this, in the name of God, I must have more. Rechtiepa, you don't know what it's like in there.
We also hear him.
You've got walls between you and him. We're in the same room. That medicine of his is beginning to stink now. I get nar when I go in there.
I can stick it out.
That's not what you said last night.
Yeah, well, you know what it's like when you want to sleep. But hell, Louis, so does he. If it's hard for us, I don't want to be in his shoes.
He hasn't got any.
Louis.
You're forgetting your place and your manner, my son. Now, come on, let's get on with the letter. Have you got, dear Dr. Visser? I take my pen in hand to write to you and tell you how things are here at Steenkampskraal. Here at Steenkampskraal. Big letter S and full stop. Mr. Marais, no. Make that Advocate Marais is fine. Well, it's true. It's happening just like the doctor said it would. Right. Advocate Marais is fine. But he's being a little bit difficult about the pills. A little bit difficult about the pills. Full stop, however. I have not given in to him. Wastiri, this goes to the doctor, eh?
Mr. Marais? Mr. Marais?
Please, Tankore.
No. You listen to me. You've hardly eaten anything since you've been with us. I've watched you grow weaker, not stronger. If that is all Steenkampskraal can do for you, just a bowl of soup. What is it with those pills, Mr. Marais?
Didn't Dr. Visser tell you as well? I'm a sick man.
Yeah, but it's like a devil in this house. Putting you and Durf against each other. Angry voices. No, it's not right.
I'm sorry, Tankore. But I can't help myself. Is that all?
Advocate, listen, man. I can't, man. The pills are dangerous. Now listen, I promise you, the minute Dr. Visser gets back to Heidelberg, I'll send you... No,
Wait any longer.
I can't take a responsibility.
Go outside. I don't want to.
God, let me.
Do as I say.
It's my pain. Let me speak. Listen to me. Please, you won't do it. I promise. Dr. Visser will understand. Won't do it. I promise you. If you help me, I want to ask you again.
Mr. Murray! I am only following Dr. Visser's instructions! Read the bloody letter yourself if you don't believe me, man.
They drive me into Heidelberg a few moments with Dr. Visser. Just let him see the state of you.
Keep out of it, Louis.
Mr. Murray, you are not listening to what I am saying! Dr. Visser won't be back in Heidelberg.
You're lying! You are all lying to me! No, I didn't mean it. Listen, Wonders, I'll do anything. Anything you say. Please help me. It's worse than hell, man. I can't stand it any longer.
And if I get to you today, there won't be enough left for the rest of the week, man!
We'll send to Dr. Visser for more. I'll explain it was all my fault.
He won't, he warned me!
I'll go with Les tomorrow.
Give it to him. No, do it.
For God's sake, have pity.
Please come, Mr. Murray. Take him to his room.
Won't do it. No. Won't do it.
All right, Mr. Murray. Just go to your room.
Do you know what you are doing?
No.
In such cases, life becomes a continual struggle to render permanent by excessive use the very fleeting happiness these poisons bring. The bands of civilized life are eagerly snapped. The strongest springs of human conduct, love of friends and relatives, position, honor, are restraints more powerless than plumed reeds to stop the whirlwind in its course. Everything held priceless in normal life is carelessly cast into the maelstrom. The sufferer drifts into a vicious circle, and like the scorched fly, spins in vain upon the axis of his pain.
More. More.
Really more good.
can't even put my hand into it, Mr. Murray.
Not hot enough.
But you burn yourself, Mr. Murray.
For God's sake, do as I tell you. It's not hot enough. More.
Steady. Any minute now, Mr. Murray.
There remains the question, what is it about the euphoric poisons that make them so irresistible to man and the baboon?
Oh.
In the psyche of an animal such as man, dominated by the new causal mind, the pain of the survival struggle has a single focus, the consciousness. Both man and the baboon experience consciousness as something based on pain and suffering.
Syringe. Get out. Get out.
He's a human being, Doris. Not an animal. Unlock the door. Take off his jacket. I never expected it of you, Dorsey.
Are we supposed to be his bloody nursemates?
Who do you think you're talking to?
Be reasonable, Pa. Who told us that he was going to behave like a... I don't even have a word for it.
Dr. Visser. He warned us, Louis, when he asked us the first time.
He said he was a sick man, Ma, not a madman. And even that's not the truth.
Louis, I'm beginning to lose my temper with you.
Then you must not lose it, Pa, because vrachty, I've had enough. I'm not sleeping in that room anymore.
Then move out. I'll stay in there with him.
So it's Dorsey, the Samaritan now.
He is sick, Bull.
Dorsey, if you tell me that once more. Sick. You know what he really is, don't you? Why are we bluffing ourselves? Malaria. Those bloody pills aren't medicine, it's drugs he's taking. He's worse than a drunk lap. It's the end as far as I'm concerned, and if Pa doesn't like it, I'll leave Sierkopsgraaf. We're wasting our time. He'll never get better. Thank you.
Man is born an instinctive animal. The baby clings to the mother, cries for food, and instinctively knows what to do when offered a breast. There is no memory, no conception of cause and effect, no consciousness. Then as it grows, the new mind slowly emerges, and as this happens, the instinctive soul becomes just as slowly submerged. It is this new mind which has helped man conquer the driest deserts, the highest mountains, the deepest valleys and the frozen poles, and yet survived. But nature demands payment for all she gives. The baboon and man pay an enormous price for their psyche, a price which is bound surely but slowly to bring about their natural extermination.
Only for tomorrow.
Oh, I think you're doing very well. A little more practice, Durf, and you could set yourself up in business. I'll tell you this much. I'd rather take up his tonsils than attempt what you're doing.
Don't say that, Doctor. You make me more nervous. Make like so, Mr. Murray.
I'll try tomorrow, Dorsey.
Thanks, Mr. Murray.
Any work yet?
You must be joking, Andres.
That will come next. You're over the worst now. Don't you think so? We're going to get you off at this time, Eugene. There's some mail for you. You want me to read it for you?
No, later.
Your friend in Cape Town.
Oh, Wilhelm's glass.
Eugene, you've got your hands on your life again. Don't let go, Woody.
Of course not. You said it yourself, Andres. I'm over the worst. It was just a question of time. That's why I agreed to come here. Diagnosis?
Interesting. Very, very interesting. A coronary pentameter.
Rhyming?
No.
Let's hear it.
Something like, thou hast nor youth, nor age, but as it were an after-dinner sleep, dreaming on birth.
In the door. The other fairy brought a new shoe.
Go on with your story. Do you know where the fairies live? There.
No,
I've seen them, Cookie.
my name is not Cookie.
I'm going to call you Cookie.
My name is Curry and there are no fairies in there.
How do you know?
Because
Thought he's looking good, Tankori.
Yeah, but it needs rain. Just remembering what it looked like when we first came. 1905. Homestead burnt down. Bare veld. We outspanned and put up our tents there where the kraal is now. Bitter hearts. 2 boys still small. Myself out of the concentration camp. Durf is long a prisoner of war. We had nothing when we started, except that bitterness.
Which camp, Don Corey?
Terfontein, the race course. Yeah. 2 years. Longest 2 of my life. Not even the drought of 1910 and 1911 seemed to last as long. Wasn't the Almighty's mercy we were waiting for? An end to man's stupidity. And talk to me about the English. Those first few years, Durf and the boys worked like Kaffirs on this land, Mr. Murray. Don't judge us harshly. Life hasn't been easy for us. Drought, locusts, the English. I know my men aren't gentle.
I haven't judged anyone, Don Corey. I hope no one has judged me. What do you say now, Cookie?
How many do you think there are?
I'm not sure.
What do they look like?
I'll tell you. Come with me. Een veertjie het vraar, uit spinnerak 'n doek vergaar. 'n rokkie wit soos heuning was, het sy toe aan mekaar gelas. Maar nauwelijks was het om haar lyf, toe kom 'n windjie vlug en styf. En met die uiting van sy sug, daar trek ons veertjie deur die lug. Haar maatjie staar haar treurig aan, hoe sy hoog oor die bome gaan, tot sy met heel haar rokkie fyn, daar in die verte glad verdwyn. As jy 'n rokkie ooit besit, van spinnerak of iets soos dit, pas op hoe jy jou dan verroer, 'n wenkie mag jou glad vervoer.
Yeah. My father was the last one to use it. When he died, my mother made us take it down. It was the only thing they ever argued about. He's Mampoer. He liked his dope.
Is the condenser here?
Condenser. I don't know that, but there's something there.
That's it. I could get this to work again.
Well, go ahead. To tell you the truth, I don't mind a drop myself.
I've never been a heavy drinker. I don't mean to start now.
I'm sorry. Please, Mr. Murray. I'm sorry. To hell with this Mr. and Advocate business. Listen, I said it before and I'll say it again because it's the truth. I'm only a farmer, and maybe not such a good one at that. And there are some things I don't understand, and prachtig Eugene, you're one of them. Make allowances, man.
We'll need something to put the Mampoer in. That's right. Do you know what this is for, Steely? Yeah. Good.
Reperi kaubili.
Subira malile mbozela lezo mlomza.
Unmistakable. The bouquet, the body. Steam comes scroll 26. You're good here. You have hidden talents, Eugene.
Just a good memory and a little elementary science. There were quite a few stalls around in the Waterberg during my time there, and one or two very potent recipes. Dr. Visser doesn't approve.
Nor for that matter disapprove, Advocate Murray. It's just being a doctor I find myself, of necessity, advocating the cause of moderation.
Then by all means plead it. But as one advocate to another, let me just say that I don't think you stand a chance. The judge is biased. Name me a civilization, Andres, or for that matter a race or tribe of men that have not had their euphoric drug, not made, you'll forgive me quoting myself, habitual recourse to the use of a poison to induce a feeling of happiness as a remedy for the pain of consciousness. Ah, steady. Finished. That with thy potent rhetoric stealest away the purposes of wrath, pleadest effectually for relenting pity, and in one night's heavenly sleep callest back to the guilty man visions of his infancy and hands washed pure from blood.
Beautiful,
But
dangerous rhapsodies.
I know. I'm not justifying anything, Andres. Merely stating a fact. That's all Steery wants. How did you yourself describe it in Lotusland? The zalige niks doen en droom.
Well, that's cheating, Eugene. There's more to the poem than just that line. He pleads the cause of moderation, not excess.
Do me the honor.
All right. From where Nordier speaks up. Nordier addresses the nation. Een vijand bedreigt ons, o broeders. En een vijand op wie ons moet let. De gladste deelta wordt zo moeders. Trekkers wee is per slot, trekkers vet. Veel beter is dan eindeloos te zwerven. Die gevaren ons man weer te staan. Als hier een gemak te verderven en een smorende vet te vergaan. Veel voorspoed wordt later een kitten. En het dwingland die luie gemak. Te gronde gaan ons weer verfitten. Morgen trek ons van hier bak en zak. Die aand nog het koers van een merwe en Odie die ou vetspan verlaat. Hulle bieren na swoege en zwerwe is alweer van normale formaat. Maar hoe dit met die ander gesteld is, dit weet nuchter. Een rondloper hier beweer dat hulle allemaal gesmeld is. En derhalve die naam Vet Rivier.
Tapio Ursinus Ursinus.
A lovely little old lady.
First citizen of the world. And the reason? A soul that had escaped the shackles of instinct and was able to memorize the relationship between cause and effect. Prime attribute of the new mind.
Cogito ergo sum.
I think, therefore I am.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, Andres. You're a surgeon. Put eyes in those sockets.
So?
Pharaoh, Elgerson. It hurts, therefore I am.
Oh, nobody. Amo Ergosen.
How's your writing going, Andres?
You tell me.
Another poem.
After you've corrected it.
Brenda.
She's passing through Heidelberg in a week or so.
And
She wants to know if there's a chance of seeing me.
what did you say?
I haven't replied yet.
What does our doctor advise?
To avoid emotional complications, both of you.
That won't happen, Andres. It's all over. But I never did say goodbye to her properly. Or thank you for helping us.
Your doctor doesn't remember a thing. And he hopes for his sake that you will do the same. I'll arrange with my driver to bring her out.
Dr. Visser seemed very pleased with your progress.
Yes.
Then why aren't you?
Who said I wasn't?
You don't look it.
Please. My name is Eugene Meret, Dr. Corrie. I'm 54 years old.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
I'll tell you what I know. You are getting better. Dr. Visser has every reason to be pleased. You already look years younger. Your friends will hardly recognize you when you go back.
Steenkom's Kraal must take all the credit for that, Dr. Corrie. You've all been very patient.
Only friends, Mr. Murray? No family?
Family? Of course. We Murray are like the baboon. You'll find us wherever it's possible to survive. There's a troop of us down in the Cape, another in the Free State, Victoria. I've got a son. My wife died a long time ago. Good night, Uncle.
Good night, Mr. Murray.
My first acquaintance with the baboons of Doornhoek took place under the most favorable of circumstances. There had been a succession of very good rainy years in the Waterberg before my arrival there. As the prophet aforetime declared, the wilderness was like Eden, and the desert like the garden of the Lord. Joy and gladness were found therein. It goes without saying that our troop of baboons enjoyed this state of affairs to the full. They were fat and frolicsome, and more beautifully bearded than we ever saw them afterwards. We little knew when first we settled in that happiness was only on the surface, and that the shadow of perpetual tragedy always darkened the lives of these baboons. The circumstances which rendered these clever and extremely nervous animals indifferent to the presence of their arch foe man were due to a long succession of events. The South African War had left the area in unpeopled solitude for a number of years, and when eventually the farmers returned, they were for several years without rifles and ammunition. The baboons were very quick to realize their helplessness and took full advantage of it. Our baboons generally reached their sleeping place some time before sunset. Among the younger members of the troop, this was the favorite time for frequent romping games. It was especially the hour of the little ones. With the setting of the sun, however, and the first deepening of the shadows, a singular transformation came over the entire scene. Silence fell upon them. In few phases of their behavior did the troop of baboons appear to me more human-like than in the unquestionable expression of this evening melancholy. The older ones assumed attitudes of profound dejection. It is hardly possible to avoid the conclusion that the chokma suffers from the same attribute of pain, which is such an important ingredient of human mentality, and that the condition is due to the same cause, namely, the suffering inseparable from the new mind, which, like man, it has acquired in the course of its evolution.
There. That should make our bath as happy if it comes out. It's my son, and Mr. Murray's most dedicated pupil.
Would you like tea in the voorkamer?
It's quite pleasant out here on the stoep.
And make yourselves comfortable. I've got everything ready.
So this is it.
Sten comes Groot.
Andres' few letters said nothing. It's gentler than I had imagined.
Spring, Brenda. It was a bleak landscape when I arrived. There's still time for a few late frosts.
How are you?
Fine. And you?
If you want anything, I'll be in the kitchen. And you? Holiday? Come. Your mother's only got 2 and she needs 4.
Your little friend doesn't like me. You're going to break another heart, Eugene.
Okay. Strange child. She does believe in fairies, though. Will you pour?
You're looking much better than I'd imagined. Relaxed. Alive. You're writing again, Andres tells me.
I've had the time. They live a quiet life here.
Poetry?
Not much. I'm putting all my energy into my magnum opus, The Soul of the Ape.
Back to your baboons again.
Back? I never ever left him. Tell me about Albertus.
I've got him in a good school now. And he misses you. Your walks in the veld.
I was hoping the microscope would keep him busy.
Too busy. It's becoming impossible to get him away from it to do his homework. He gets his best marks in nature's terrible.
Excellent.
How much longer do you think you're going to stay here?
Not much. I've had all the rest I need now.
Andre says you might be moving to Pretoria. You've applied for a post at the zoo.
I'm only thinking about it. Gustav Preller is talking to Milan, Minister of the Interior, on my behalf. But I'm in two minds. If it's a purely administrative post, there won't be time for any research. That is what I need. I'm tired of writing vacuous newspaper articles for people too lazy to think for themselves. If I work seriously now, there might just be enough time left for me to apply myself to what I have to do. So don't attach any significance to all...
Stop! You're not talking to me. Stop running away. I know it's over. I simply came to see you.
Good.
Well, it does help to know you're alive and well.
It wouldn't have worked, Brenda. You know me well enough to know that.
Please, anything but don't say you're sorry. I'm not.
I wasn't going to. Give this to Albertus. Tell him it's the lower jawbone of a black-backed jackal. I found it in the veld.
Thank you. Eugene, live and work. You've got so much to give. I hope someday you find somebody who can.
Goodbye, Brenda.
Bye, Eugene.
See, the hole through which the poison comes. Not at the end. If it was, the fang would be plugged by the flesh of the animal it bites, and the poison wouldn't come through. The hole is just above the point. The point makes an open path through the flesh for the poison. The first hypodermic, Dorsey. Mine is just a copy of this.
They'll be flying soon. Not long till the first rains.
That's right. A nuptial flight. That's how it all starts, Dorsey. In the dry districts, they sometimes have to wait for years before they get the chance to fly. Imagine it. Years underground in darkness, waiting for that one moment. And when it comes, it only lasts for 3 seconds. For a distance of only 3 yards, they will enjoy the exquisite thrill of flight. To really understand this ant, Dorsey, try to think of it as a single animal. Some of the termites forming the mouth and stomach, others the weapons of defense, still others the sexual organs. And to call the queen The brain of that animal is almost to do her a disservice. She's the soul.
If that's true, Mr. Murray, then what you're doing now is most a sin, isn't it?
Those?
We'll eat them tomorrow.
My curiosity is also an appetite, Dorsey.
Maybe. But I didn't hear you say grace. Man can ask too many questions, Mr. Murray. You know what the preacher said in the Bible. For in much wisdom is much grief, and he that increaseth knowledge increaseth sorrow.
I wish I had your faith, Dorsey. My mother died in my arms. Just before the end, there was an expression, a look in her eyes. I asked her what it was she saw. She said, nothing. There is nothing.
Be reasonable, Eugene. You're down to half a grain a day. In a few more weeks, you'll be offered completely. You're writing again.
I am not.
What's that?
I've gone as far as I can here on Skin Comes Crawl. Don't you understand, Andres? From lucky I see you once a week for an hour. For the rest, the mayors are decent people. And I have come to like and respect them. But for God's sake, man, there's no intellectual stimulus or provocation. I'm living on old ideas.
Eugene, I'm not asking you to stay here indefinitely.
It feels like that. The cure has become a prison sentence. No, Andres. I've had enough.
But I'm not just talking to you as a doctor or as a friend. There's more involved in the life and work of Eugene Murray than just a patient's recovery or a friendship.
Stop that nonsense, Andres. My life is my own. It won't ever be a national monument. Too much has happened already. I've tried before, you know. I've been on it for 30 years now. The most I can hope for is to keep it under control.
No, as a doctor, I refuse to accept that. Eugene, have you forgotten what you were taking before you came here? In 1 week, you pumped enough into yourself to kill 60 men.
For God's sake, Andres! 60 men, 1 man. 10 grains, half a grain. 8 pills, 2 pills. Listen, Woody, it's got nothing to do with either arithmetic or chemistry. What do you want? No, don't tell me. I can hear your inimitable phalanx of bedside platitudes lining themselves up. Me, sober, sensible, normal, happily married forever after? Stop wasting your time, Andres. It's as much a part of me now as the spelling of my name. If you want me for a friend, accept me for what I am.
How long has it been now? The 2 of us. You're right. 2 years, 3 years. What does that measure? Nothing arithmetic. I could take out your appendix, Buddy. Through a hole so small you wouldn't be able to slip a cufflink through it. If you ever have one again.
I know. It would be so simple, wouldn't it? If you could apply your scalpel with the same precision and efficacy in other directions as well.
Yes. Yes, I would have liked to believe there was something I could do to remedy life. Oh, I see. That's the name of the ailment.
Yes. Diagnosed as such a few thousand years before Christ by the nameless author of an Egyptian papyrus. Title? Dialogue between the writer and his son.
In it, the writer came to the conclusion that the very existence of life was founded on sorrow and pain, and that there was ultimately only one perfect remedy to put an end to one's existence. The Sotho have a nice turn of phrase for that. Peli indaba, end of dialogue.
There's a morbid streak of self-indulgence in your nature, Eugene. You haven't got a monopoly on pain and sorrow, you know. I too had a wife. Her name was also Letty. But I also try to sing, Eugene.
Try to. Come on, Andres. Kisang van die Sekebos rand will have his special place in our language for as long as it is spoken. But don't try to teach me your song, Woody, because if you succeeded, there's one mystery above all others that awed the Bushmen. How a string of Batu sinew, pulled taut over an empty pumpkin gourd, could make a sound that in turn would make men laugh or cry, dance or wait for rain. It so impressed them as one of the ultimate mysteries that they decided that men thought, dreamt, imagined with strings, that every man in fact had one song all of his own. Sounds like their word for soul, doesn't it? How much longer did you want, Andres?
No. No more arithmetic.
How much longer, Andres?
You're a bastard, you know that.
Then why do you persist?
Medical ethics.
All right. Doctor, how much longer?
2 weeks.
Let's get on with it then. Tell Durf to reduce the dosage to 1 every second day. Yes, Cookie.
Why were you cross with the doctor?
Who says I was cross?
I heard you.
I wasn't cross with the doctor.
Who then?
Myself, I suppose.
Why?
For always being a guest in someone else's home.
Haven't you got a home?
Come to think of it, I have, Cookie. Come, let's go for a walk in it. It's beautiful, isn't it, Cookie?
It's not green.
You must learn to see and love it for what it is. Don't ask it to be something else. It's dry, but not dead. There's a lot of life down there. There. I've spent hours trying to find one of these nests. even when it was only a few yards away from me as this one was.
3 babies.
Not yet, but they'll try. They've got a lot of enemies. Sometimes they fly so high you can't see them.
Do you think they can hear the angels singing up there?
You will look in vain in nature for love, sympathy, pity, justice, protection of the weak and innocent. From the very beginnings of life, we hear a chorus of anguish. Pain is a condition of existence. Escape from pain, a purpose in all striving.
Blaas uit oor die rivier, die vlam van haat, die groot verlangen wat mij nooit verlaat.
De priester en de profeet dwalen van de sterke drank, zij zijn verslonden van de wijn, zij dolen van sterke drank, zij dwalen in het gezicht, zij waggelen in het gerucht. Want alle tafels...
Happiness can be bought for a penny and carried in the waistcoat pocket. The chancery of dreams, 7 heavens above the 7th heaven.
Zodat er geen plaats schoon is. Wien zou hij dan de kennis leren?
All the candles are alight. Desdemona lives again, black man.
Den afgetrokkenen van de borsten?
The evil is undone.
Want het is gebod op gebod. Gebod op gebod, regel op regel. Hier een weinig, daar een weinig. Daarom zal hij door belachelijke lippen, regel op regel, hier een weinig, daar een weinig. Daarom zal hij door belachelijke lippen en door een andere
The evil is
tong.
undone. With hands washed pure from blood, you can again enjoy her most subtle perfection.
Tell Dr. Visser to fetch him.
Doubt, darkness, and death. Stop the car.
What?
I want to say grace. Sy sê, ek vorder as 'n heel gereg, die vrug van eindelose pyn. Ek smyt hul oor die berge weg en smoor hul in die sandwoestyn. Sy sê, nooit het ek iets gegee, ek laat hul honger, dors en bloei. Hul worstel deur en sterf gedwee, en min my as 'n vlam wat skroei. 10 male moes hul veg vir my, 10 male moes hul kerm en stoei, 10 male in die stof gebrei, 10 male opstaan weer en bloei. My liefde duld geen ewenaar, vergeefs die weerklag van die vrou, van kleintjies al die stom gebaar, my liefde verg hy enkel trou. Hul diepste hoop is lang verteer, vergaan in rook en as en bloed, hul sak aanbiddend om my neer, ek voel hul trane op my voet. Ek adem nooit hul name meer, nooit kon ek hulle kinders noem. In vreemde tale hoor ek weer die dowwe fluistering van hul roem. En vlamend as 'n swaard geheg, bly van my liefde slegs die pyn. Ek smyt hul oor die berge weg en smoor hul in die sandwoestyn.